everybody, so new review today we're talking about the upcoming Witcher animated film, The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. As many fans of The Witcher like myself are highly anticipating season 2 of the show to drop in December, thankfully Netflix is holding us over with this new animated adventure that's going to drop on Netflix August 23rd. This prequel film, however, is not going to follow Geralt, it's actually going to follow his mentor Vesemir. Makes sense because he is going to appear in season 2 of the show, so this is a good stepping stone to kind of introduce him to people if you haven't read the books or played any of the video games. Nightmare of the Wolf shows us Vesemir's origin as he's escaping a life of poverty to slaying monsters as a witcher, but when strange new monsters begin terrorizing a politically fraught kingdom, Vesemir finds himself on a frightening adventure that forces him to confront the demons of his past. As a fan of The Witcher, I really appreciated the deep dive into Vesemir's origin and getting to see him in his prime as a witcher, because that's not something we've really ever delved all that much into in the source material to my knowledge, and I absolutely love the way that it was executed in Nightmare of the Wolf. You can definitely see how similar this young Vesemir is to the Geralt that we know and love today, because they do act very similar in a lot of different ways. I must say, I'm really impressed with the voiceover work that Theo James has done in the past few years, whether it be Hector in Castlevania or now Vesemir in Nightmare of the Wolf. I think he did a great job portraying this younger, hot Vesemir, which is not something I was expecting going into this, seeing this younger, hot version of Vesemir just because of what I'm used to in the video games. James really does bring a ton of charisma and charm to the character while also excelling in the more somber, more emotional story beats as well, as Vesemir has to fight his past demons throughout the course of the film. The animation for Nightmare of the Wolf was done by Studio Mirror, who I'm a big fan of. They're primarily known for doing anime. Their most famous stuff is like The Legend of Korra and Voltron Legendary Defender. The animation here is just flat out stunning, as we use various different 2D and 3D techniques throughout that really give it so much style and flair, especially in all of the different action sequences we get throughout the film. Those were some of the best parts of the film in my opinion. Each and every one of them were pure entertainment here. They're bloody, they're intense. No two action sequences in the film are really the same, as there's quite the variety here of exciting Witcher versus creature battles that fans have come to enjoy from the video game series and the books as well. And I truly mean it when I say this film is extremely violent. The blood, guts, and gore are really ramped up here. It may be animated, but it is very horrifying. Various different moments I could use to showcase just how horrifying the material is here when it comes to the violence, blood, guts, and gore. But the Trial of the Grasses is probably one of the most traumatizing to me because it involves children and children death. If you were going into this expecting them to pull punches whatsoever, they do not here. It is a very graphically violent film. Much like in the Witcher series, we do jump back and forth between multiple different storylines throughout the film, but it isn't as confusing here as we only have to follow 3 different ones. We mainly follow Vesemir as a kid, Vesemir as a witcher, and also Tetra and the kingdom stuff as well. Then they all inevitably end up coming together in the end. I wasn't a big fan of the Tetra storyline stuff. I just didn't find that particularly all that interesting, but I do think that Vesemir's storyline is very compelling and very interesting. Outside of the fun action, the story told here is very easy to be drawn into as we follow Vesemir's origin, his rough upbringing, leaving friends and family behind to delve into this Witcher lifestyle. And as the story progresses, you begin to wonder if all of this trauma that's being inflicted on him to become a Witcher is really worth it in the end. Coupling that with the things that you see behind the scenes that the Witcher do to kind of maintain this lifestyle, and the ever-growing divide between the Witchers and the people, because the people do not want the Witchers around, and that of course culminates in a very epic battle at the very end that's extremely satisfying. What's so great is we delve into so much lore with the Witcher, seeing Vesemir's origin and all these different famous things from the Witcher franchise, and it's a very short film. It clocks in at less than 90 minutes long, and I felt like it was paced perfectly as there was really no filler here, and I was never bored, even with the kind of kingdom politics stuff that I wasn't a big fan of. None of it was really boring in any sense of the word. It's just that Tetra was probably the least interesting character of the main character bunch here between Vesemir and some others. Even as the story progresses, I never found myself attaching myself to her character or enjoying her and want to see her in more material after this. After Nightmare of the Wolf, I'd absolutely love if they continued on doing more of these animated film adventures or a show, because where we leave off at the end of Nightmare of the Wolf, there is a lot of potential here to delve more into a sequel series or sequel film. There's a lot of potential here, even if we don't follow Vesemir. There's a lot of potential here for the Witcher franchise to grow with all these different animated features. I think it would be a great idea to give us more films in the universe. I mean, we could have some animated films with Geralt, some more with Vesemir. Between all that and then the series starring Henry Cavill, you can definitely tell that Netflix is trying to build up a universe of the Witcher stuff on Netflix, and I'm all for it at this point. I've loved the Witcher show, this film was great, and I think that the season 2 is going to be exciting as well later on this year. As of this recording, we haven't even seen what Vesemir is going to look like in the show. I know we have someone cast in the role. Kim Bodnia of Killing Eve fame is actually cast in the role, but we haven't seen what he looks like. Of course, he's not going to look like what he looks like in this film. Now that you've heard my thoughts on The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf, make sure you share your thoughts down below. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you looking forward to this film or not looking forward to this film? And once you do get a chance to check it out when it hits Netflix next week, were you a fan of it, not a fan of it? As a Witcher fan, or are you satisfied with seeing Vesemir's origin play out on screen, not a fan of it? Are you excited to see more of Vesemir in season 2 of The Witcher? Because I think that's going to be really exciting. I'm excited to see more of The Witcher in general, especially right now. So I may actually go back and play some of The Witcher games if I'm being honest. Either way, share your thoughts down below. It's part of the fun of having that discussion with you guys down below in the comment section. Like to all these movie TV guys on the channel. Thank you as always for checking my reviews. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like it, the subscribe button. We'll keep making movie reactions, unboxings, and more on the channel. But next time, I'll see you guys later.